Through the first dozen years of the new millennium, enthusiasm for all things Tolkien was boosted higher than ever by the spectacular popularity of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film trilogies. Consequently, an entirely new generation first experienced Tolkien as portrayed in these films. For 21st century readers of Tolkien, a beautiful 6-volume series of reader's guides were created between 2014 and 2020. These newly designed books are published in a compact, flexibound format with embossed leatherette covers and integrated many of the best illustrations from earlier books of the previous century, with new Tolkien-inspired art by a brilliant new generation of artists. This compact series is redolent of Andrew Lang's famous 19th century illustrated fairy book series that Tolkien confessed first introduced him to Sigurd, the Volsung, and the Prince of all Dragons. Like Lang's fairy tale books, each volume is distinguished by a different color. Among the many newly commissioned artists in this series were 2 new generation dragon masters, the Italian Mauro Mazzaro and the American Kip Rasmussen. Both are rising stars in the firmament of fantasy illustrators. Mauro is a gifted artist with an exuberant and wonderfully flamboyant style. He is a versatile freelance illustrator who works in publishing, fashion, and advertising, and also teaches drawing and painting in the ancient city of Brescia. Here, Mauro Mazzaro reveals his vision of the resplendent Smaug the Magnificent as guardian of the treasure hoard of Erebor, and the last great fire-breathing dragon of the Third Age. Mauro also has a considerable knowledge of ancient cultures that is essential to these books, as they are much concerned with the historic, literary, and cultural inspiration behind Tolkien's writing. Mauro presents us with an innovative interpretation of the lesser dragons of the Third Age, that is, the Coldrakes who arose in the wastelands of the north and for centuries made war on the dwarves of the Grey Mountains. However, Mauro also illustrated the primeval dragons of the First Age as revealed in the Silmarillion. These were monsters of an heroic age that preceded the time of Smaug the Golden and the quest of the Lonely Mountain by over 6,000 years. In this scene, Mauro Mazzaro confronts us with the murderous battlefield vision of Glaurung, the father of dragons, in league with a Belrog and a legion of orcs, decimating the armies of elves and men in the disastrous wars of Beleriand. This archaic First Age ended with a great battle between the forces of light and darkness that lasted for over 4 decades. Here is Mauro's version of the ravening majesty of Ancalagon, the greatest dragon of the First Age, unleashing a firestorm of terrible, withering flames. Our American dragon master, Kip Rasmussen, specialized in drawing scenes from the Silmarillion, the work he considers most fundamental to Tolkien's legendarium. Kip documents the life and death of Glaurung, father of dragons, as one of the great themes and central tales of the Silmarillion. Here we have Kip's portrayal of the terrifying Glaurung, the first of the Urloki fire drakes to appear upon Middle-earth. In a scene from the Wars of Beleriand, we discover the dwarves of Belagos alone withstood the flames of Glaurung and his dragon horde in the battle of unnumbered tears. And but for the courage of the dwarf king Azagul in that battle, the elves of Beleriand would have been utterly annihilated. Kip Rasmussen is particularly attuned to the poetic language of Tolkien's writing in the Silmarillion, and consequently responded as an artist by creating haunting and evocative scenes of great beauty and power. Here, Turambar, although cursed and deceived by an evil dragon spell, by stealth and courage, ultimately slays Glaurung, the great worm of Morgoth. Then, too, one of Kip's dragons appears in the 4-decade-long great battle wherein Thorondor, the Lord of Eagles, engages in aerial warfare with a winged dragon of Angband during the cataclysmic War of Wrath. Kip's art is most evocative in his atmospheric illustrations of the primeval lost world of Tolkien's First Age. Here we have Kip's very different approach in his portrayal of Ancalagon the Black, the largest and greatest of the vast legion of winged fire drakes released in the final battle of the War of Wrath.